Hey everyone, welcome back to another flight recap. Again today we have a Cubcrafters Xcub. We're flying out of KPHL, and I believe we were supposed to go to KRDG, which would be Reading Airport in Pennsylvania. KPHL is Philly. But we ended up not being able to make it to Reading Airport. We had an issue with the plane, and we ended up having to take her down on KILG right here. So the issue is right after takeoff. Let's get into it. Here you can see I go to takeoff. This was on the live server, so there was a little bit of wind that I couldn't control. The Xcub is very sensitive to wind, and as I've stated before, the rudder is very difficult to use because my thumb covers the whole rudder, so I can't see the inputs. I can only go based on what the aircraft does, so it can be very hard to control smaller planes like this. It just is what it is. But we got up in the air, we were climbing out, and if I pull this up, we continue to climb. We're at 9,000 feet. Interestingly enough, it does not say that I took autopilot on or off. Okay, there we go. So we're at 12,500 feet, and right here is where we had an engine failure. Due to that engine failure, I took autopilot off, took full control of the plane, decided almost immediately that I would be going to KILG. It just seemed like the very best option. It was pretty close by. So we turned for KILG, and then we'll skip forward a little bit. I had to glide down. We were able to hold pretty good. We had plenty of altitude. I actually had to, as you can see here, I had to dive pretty steep and lose some altitude. But at the same time, with 10,000 feet, I lost the engine. So I really didn't know how far I could glide on it, and I wasn't going to rely on trying to get too far and not being able to get there. So I figured it was better to dive down real quick and just completely diminish that altitude and try to land KILG where I knew I could line up and make it. So as you can see, I mean, we are diving super steep. I know the game warned me about that, but we made it in for a short final right here. Lined up for the runway pretty good. Flaps down, 60 knots at about 500 feet. Then we got to 220 feet, and we got 49 knots. I know I messed it up towards the landing a little bit. It wasn't horrible. I shouldn't have pulled back so soon. I flared way too early here, as you can see, and because of that, I ended up slamming the plane down on the ground and bouncing it a little bit. But with an engine failure like that, I mean, I think it was a pretty good landing overall, something you could walk away from. I should have came down a little bit further before I flared, and everything would have been perfect still. But it was a successful emergency landing, and the plane stayed in one piece, and the pilot was able to walk away. So I'd say it was pretty good. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time.